All right, guys, welcome back to the Click Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Satch. Give me some, brother.
What's up?
Today, we're going to have another exciting episode, but we're going to be talking about something that exists from everything. It's something that you truly come from, and that is love. We're talking about love, not only, and also self-love. How do you show up for yourself, in this world? But not only the love that you have from within, but the love that you also have, on the outside. How do you show that to this world, based off of how the feelings that you have? So I'll ask you this question, first, Satch. Well, how would you define love? What is it to you? How do you find understanding of that?
This is we probably could do 10 episodes on this one.
Oh yeah, this is the one.
It is very important. So I think first I'll say, like, everything I share is really about sharing and hope to inspire, and I'm always learning. So definitely not telling anyone what they should think and how they should think. It's really a conversation about, opening up. And I think we all need that. And I think that's part of love. But love is everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, love is everything. Everything starts and ends with love. And I think there's two paths of love. There's the external path of love. So all the love that is outside of you and comes back and forth, and the love that's inside of you that comes back and forth. And to me, love is an interesting word because a lot of times it's associated with feeling and emotion. But really what it truly, truly, truly is, it's really a verb. It's about action. Mm-hmm. You can love emotionally someone else, but if you don't act with love, they won't understand that. Mm-hmm. Then that's, a selfish form of love, because you're satisfying you feeling good, but you're not expressing that in a way where other people can see it, feel it, understand it, and it lives. And so to me, one of the major points of it is, in my life now, it used to be love was a feeling. And now love is about action. Mm-hmm. Self-love is about action. Do you show up for yourself every day? Do you have your priorities? Do you put yourself first? Do you get out of bed and go to the gym and do your work and do your meditation and do your journaling and whatever it is to give you that feeling that you love yourself? And then the same thing goes with your career, with your friends, with your loved ones, with your significant other. Mm-hmm. It's all about action to me.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you put it perfectly because, you have to decide how you show up. But one of the big things, and I'll talk about like self-love here, and I say even like love is like an experience that you choose to have. Why? Because like you said, I've said it before, like you come from love, right? So how does love show up from within? But even when you go back to like self-love, what does that really mean, right? Like how do I love myself? But you said it perfectly. It's how you decide to show up. And it breaks my heart to even say this, but I know an individual that has even had a hard time like looking in the mirror and saying, I love you, right? Because I think a lot of people have a hard time actually spending time with themselves, right? And like really like defining who they are and how am I going to show up? And to love yourself, I think is super important. It's probably one of the number one things that you can do as a human being, because when you show up as your true self, you can show up as your true self in all of your relationships and how you actually experience this world. Love is a beautiful thing, guys. And, they always say there's two opposites. There's love and then there's fear, and then on the other side of fear is love, right? So if you want to live in that state of being all the time and you want to live in a true sense of purpose, you need to clearly understand and spend, whether it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, whether you're just trying to meditate or do gratitude, and really understand how is love going to influence my life? Because then you can show up as the person that you want to be, which is beautiful. You're already the person that you are. But you get to see a different side of yourself. And I see Satch smiling over here because he's having click moments over here. He's having click moments, right? To where he knows what that feels like, where I'm like, man, I was this person before. But when I finally decided to love myself and choose me first, then life started happening for me, not to me, right?
Well, you said it. This is how you know we know each other, because I did have a click moment.
Yes.
And I was gonna say like click because something you said connected the dots a little further today. You said love is a relationship, and what that means is that it's an exchange. A relationship is an exchange. So, and this goes with every part of life. So the relationship with yourself is an exchange of love. It should be an exchange of love. Your significant other, that's a relationship. There's an exchange. Our relationship with this planet. We take a lot from this planet. We appreciate this planet. We give to this planet. Our relationship with our bodies, our relationship with our minds. Everything is a relationship. And through that relationship is where you can induce that act of love. And I think that's an important way to kind of think about it, for me at least, because it gives every area of life an opportunity for love.
Yeah. And that's beautiful when you say, like, obviously it's the relationship, right? And like you said, the exchange, like the rule of reciprocity, right? And as you give, you shall receive. Okay. So, and even that's asking yourself, like, how do you receive love is a big one, right? And then how do you give love, which is really important. And they always talk about like the 5 love languages, right? I know that the way I love to receive love is like with quality time. And I guess it's physical touch. I just redid it, right? And some people is gifts. And I think a lot of that has to do with how we are raised. I always say this because I have a wonderful experience with my parents. And you have to understand, how is the child's mind shaped for the first 18 years of their life? Who are their role models? Who are their superheroes? And in all cases, it should be the parents. And you learn how to love from them. You learn how to receive love from them. You learn how they give you love, whether it's gifts or whether it's time. You learn how they love each other, how they communicate, everything. That is your example of what love should be. And innately, you know that these are my parents and I love them and they love me, right? So when you take that experience from them and you go out into the world, that is how you are shaped and that is how you are formed. And that is going to be your mindset or surrounded around that love exchange, right? And it's very beautiful how you can actually see that. And when you have a higher understanding of, like, when you start really having some serious relationships, how that really applies and how it can actually be taking actionable steps to finally find your true partner, right? Would you agree?
I would 100% agree. And I think you said it, understanding and having awareness of how you receive love as well as how you express it. And mainly here we're talking obviously about, relationships with people. What I think is really important for all of us to understand is that we're not always the same. And so you might be in a relationship where there is a love exchange, but you're unable to receive that. And the other person might also be unable to receive that. Because your receptors are different.
Correct.
And so one rule I live by in every area of my life is, because I know I always haven't been the same, and I've grown and I've learned and I've changed. So I give everyone that benefit of doubt that everyone's allowed to be where they're currently at. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that's who they are. It just means that that's where they're at. So, if we're talking about relationships, obviously finding a partner that works is super important. You can't change people. You don't want to have an expectation, or you don't want to be in a relationship where you can't be yourself and they can't be themselves. And so, sometimes, unfortunately, you might have that emotional love towards someone, but you're unable to communicate that love through your receptors, and that might not work out.
Yeah. And going back to like family, because I know this sometimes it's even weird for people to think, and even sometimes even men. But we obviously know that we love our parents, we love our brothers, and we love our sisters. But I really want to speak to men on this, and I want to say it's okay to love your friends and say I love you. Like Sach, how many times I say I love you?
All the time,
right? I'm saying it right now. It's like, I love you, Sach.
I love you too, brother.
Yeah, and that is powerful. Yeah. Guys, if you're a man and you struggle with saying I love you to another man in a very like family way, this is something that I want you to hear, because when you have the ability to make a human connection like that, Sach is my brother. I don't see him any other way. He's not my friend. He is my brother, right? He breathes the same air I do. He has the same blood running through his veins. Therefore, I love him like my brother, like my sister. For you to have that ability and that awareness that I have the ability to choose who I love in my life, and it can be anybody and everybody, that is amazing, because you have your family that you're born with, and then you have your chosen family here on earth. Sach is one of my chosen family, and I have hundreds, probably thousands of people that I love, man. Everybody that I bring in, it's like it's in my sphere for a specific reason, because I choose that. I choose love every single day. Why would I want to choose hate, right? Who wants to live on that side of negativity? If you watch it, you see it on media, you see it on TV all the way. Why would I want to live my life in such misery like that? It looks awful. Or if I see this other side of the spectrum, I was like, how do people live like that? Like you're saying, how do people live with joy? How do people live with happy relationships? Why? Is because they choose love first, which is really, really cool.
Well, what's really cool about what you said again, I think, is that when you said, why would you want to live with hate versus love? And love isn't really based on gender. I mean, what you who you marry and who you have a romantic relationship. But that's one kind of love. But love is way bigger than just that.
Yeah.
So being able to express that verbally and through your acts is super important. But I think what taking this even bigger from there is that it really comes down to division and togetherness, right? So love is togetherness, and division is the opposite of that. And I think in the world today, the messaging that we're receiving constantly is about division. So whether it starts from religion, or what country you're from, or what city you're from, or what sports team you like, or if you're a man or woman, or what your gender is, or if you're what side of the what party do you buy into, all of these sort of labels create divisions. When you're a child, there's no such thing as labels.
Nope.
You're not born with an idea of labels. So labels are ideas. So labels are an idea that we're presented and we accept because we see other people accept them, but we don't consciously create them. And these ideas of labels are divisions. And if we can live our lives understanding that they exist and the world operates with them, but we don't start with that, everything changes again. And I think that's something that I've been able to be blessed to grow with, is that I don't see someone and I'm like, oh, well, they're, that person's like me because they're Indian, or those are, people in my city. And so I connect with them more, or they know they do the same job that I do. So I can be, those are just all labels that we got to shed aside. And I think that's a starting point for love.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because labels is a big thing, especially when you see the division that we see, not only just within our United States, but across the world, right? And the only way that they can actually take power from us is by separating us. If they realize the power of humanity, and as we come together and show love, we are unstoppable. Nobody can control us. Why? Because we control everything, with our hearts. And going on the political sphere, I even talk about this because I see it. It's sad, especially you see it across, social media. Here's a man or here's an individual that I love today, right? We hang out together. We have double dates together. We have our kids playing together. And then I find out he's on a different side of the spectrum as far as a political party. And now my ideas change of him. Why? Why is that? Is that because, I disagree with his beliefs? Maybe, but it's okay to disagree, right? It's okay to disagree, but that's the same human being that you knew yesterday, but now you're trying to choose and put a different understanding of what your real relationship is. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to do that? I've literally seen friendships. I've seen family members break because of that. And that breaks my heart. And I don't want to see that for humanity. That doesn't mean anything. Guys, if you break it down to simple terms, we're all humans. Just like I said with Sach, we are one and the same. We are born in this world the same. We are brothers and we are sisters. Why not live in that way? Why not live in that fashion? Why not help each other? Why not care for each other? Why not love each other? Don't you realize we can do more together than we can separated? Guys, the world is trying to separate us. Okay? Media is trying to separate us. And we don't need to be separated. We are the human being. Let's be together.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's spot on. And I think we all lead with our example and not our opinions. And so, I commend you for doing that, leading with your example. And I've seen a lot of other people follow along. So I think that's just I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said there. Yeah. So I'd like to kind of now shift back into self-love, and I think this is where the love for everything else starts. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the attachment to the labels and the ego and the division is out of insecurity. Mm-hmm. And when you're insecure that's, you're not whole. And so a lot of times we give, again, our power to feel comforted by joining a group or being around a certain group of people and feel like, oh, they get us and that's us now. And I won't even think freely anymore. I'll just do whatever, the group wants or says. And I think what's important is when freedom, it's another interesting topic, that also comes from self-love, because that gives you the freedom to choose and you have your own choice and make your own decisions based on the connection that you have and the voice that you get here, not the voices that come from the outside. So, let's take a minute and I'll ask you this question to kick it off, but what does self-love mean to you?
I'll actually give you a story that I've shared with a couple of people, but Sabri knows this because the story is like truly direct.
Sabri's your wife.
Sabri's my wife. If you guys don't know, she's beautiful. I'm super in love. I'm still glowing, guys. I'm still
Congratulations.
glowing. The glow lasts for 50 years, I heard. But when I first had my spiritual awakening, I choose to understand who I was. And I chose to love myself first. And then the woman that I just decided to bring into my life is going to complement that, not be the reason of why my happiness or my life exists. And this is exactly what I told Sabri. He's like, Sabri, and I said it very bold, right? Because I meant it. I was like, I'm not like a lot of the other guys that you may date. I don't want to explain why, right? I have a wonderful faith. I have a wonderful family. I have a wonderful career. I give back to the community, and I live a God-given purpose every single day. So I am set. If we work out, you are going to complement my happiness, but you're not going to be the reason of why my happiness exists. Why? Because I chose myself first for the last 10 years. So I know who I am. If we work out, that's beautiful. If we don't, that's okay too. I'm still going to love you and care for you and support you in any way, shape, or form. And here's the thing. I want this for you too. I want this for you, and I want this for everybody. Because when you know that you have how you show up in this world and that you love yourself first, all of these external things don't matter. They don't matter. But we are programmed as kids through movies, through magazines, through social media, that when you find that person, then you'll find true happiness, and then you'll be happy, and then you'll be in love, right? But how many times have you seen a relationship where they thought that was the answer and it wasn't it? Why? Because they didn't know who they were. They didn't even know, what love really meant and how they would receive love and how they'd actually give that in response to their partner.
Yep.
And what happens? They usually split because they didn't spend time to know thyself.
Yep.
That is super important. I don't care, guys, and I'm saying this very, very openly and very honestly, if it takes you 1 year or 5 years or 10 years, but I challenge you to start that journey today. I challenge you to really discover what brings you happiness and how can you influence that with bringing more things that bring true love into your life, bring true love into your heart. Because when you wake up every single morning and you live in that space, wow, what an amazing thing. You just I'm so grateful to be here. God gave me a new day. God gave me a new day to be here, to be present, to breathe, to influence. And I'm grateful because somebody else wasn't given that opportunity today, but I was. Now, what am I going to do with my natural talents and abilities to show up in this world?
You said it again. The importance of self-love is the fact that it allows you to then love others honestly and openly and genuinely without the agenda, because you're not seeking anything from them to make yourself whole. And so what's really powerful about it's a hard thing for people to hear, I think, initially, but if you digest it, you realize that it's actually maybe the most loving thing someone is saying to you by being honest and saying, I want you to own your own happiness. I can only be responsible for my happiness. I can't put that on somebody else.
Oh yeah.
And you can't you can't put that on me. So if we're both, going to be responsible for our own happiness, and the way we're able to do that is through our own self-love and understanding who we are, what's important to us, our priorities, all the things you said. Now I said love is active, it's an action. So now you understand what that is and you spend your day acting on it. Now you're building love. You're building that two-way connection, that relationship with yourself, and that bond is getting stronger because you're backing it up once you're figuring it out.
Yeah.
And you allow your partner to do that, and you want that for them, and you know, you expect that for them. And I think that creates, you know, kind of an unstoppable force, because we are connected beings. So if we all handle our own stuff and then we come together, we're an unstoppable force because we're not really weak, right? I'll say this. I mean, you've been blessed, obviously, meeting the woman of your life, and she's an incredible woman. Again, congratulations. I know you just got married.
Thank you so much.
We just celebrated in Miami, and we had a great time.
Yes, let's go again.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And, you know, I'm single at this point, but I will tell you, like, as I've grown, the things that I have, that I'm attracted to are now different. And it's exactly this. To me, the sexiest thing is a woman who is secure with herself, has her own self-ambition, and is responsible for her happiness. And she's good.
That's
and
sexy. Yeah.
That's sexy, you know? And it's like, okay, well, man, let's get together and build an empire.
Yeah. It's cool because you can see that from people. Just like in the spiritual community, like you can just see, oh, this person knows, this person gets it, this person understands, they're awake, right? And that's cool. Yeah, they're because it's like an instant connection, right? Instant connection. Why? Because they've put in the time, right? And they know what it's like. They know what it's like to have this understanding and how to be present, right? Because just like you were saying, they owned their own love, right, for themselves. And I think we're going to end it on that, guys. We want to challenge you. That's the biggest thing. We want to challenge you to really love yourself. Show yourself some self-love. Figure out what that means. Do some research. You know, find a friend. Take them to coffee. Start meditating. Do something like with a gratitude book. Find out how to love yourself, and I guarantee the love is going to flood into your life and is going to be truly beautiful. Yeah, truly beautiful. And you're going to say, how'd you learn how to love somebody? I watched the Click podcast, all right? Click, you just had another click moment. I love it.
Always.
All righty, guys. We'll see you on the next episode. We hope you have a beautiful day. Until next time, we love you.
Love you.
Take care.
Click.